and none. And I just really think that we could actually do this. And if we do, it's going to be the most amazing example of what local people can do when we talk to each other, when we come together, when we find common ground, and when we find someone who could actually stand up for us. And we've been immensely lucky that Vix is the candidate to do that, and it's been so clear in both our poll, but also in every single time local people have been asked who is the best person to be the Conservatives, the answer is really clear. So I just encourage us to we've got 2 days, not even 2 days to make this happen, but everything we can do, every single vote is going to count. I really believe it, and I really think we can pull this off. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I haven't met everybody yet, but I'm Natalie Bennett, one of the 2 Green Party members of the House of Lords. If you want to look for me in Hansard, it's Baroness Bennett of Manor Castle, but that's strictly for formal occasions, and this is not a formal occasion, so that's Natalie. And I'm so excited, and it was as I could see the momentum building, and let's give a special hand to the Go Live Granny. Now, I was this morning in a long-time commitment in Dartmouth, so it was kind of like, can I make the trains and everything work? And I just could to get here today, because what I was saying to the pupils at the school in Dartmouth this morning was we need a world where everyone makes politics what they do, not have done to them. That's what democracy means. And if there's one thing we have to do is give people back the sense of power, that they can control what happens in their community, what happens in their lives, in their schools, in their families, have control. And that's exactly what you're doing. So I think you should all give yourselves an enormous round of applause. And I know in places like the island, Westminster feels like a long, long way away. And you know what you're doing? You're trying to send Vix to Westminster in the best possible way. But what we need is actual communities who've got people who represent them. And one of the things about the Green Party is we don't have a whip. So you can be sure that if your wonderful campaign succeeds, Vix is going to represent you. And that's the kind of change in politics, the real change that we need. Not just, well, I know you all don't want me to not do this, but the party whip says I have to, so I'm going to have to do it. But actually representing you. And what I think you're doing here on the island is starting a peaceful revolution of people who are saying this is our politics, we want democracy, and we're going to demand it. So I've known Vix for a long while. I know that she will be a great MP. This is a moment of huge possibility. And all of you know, and so many other people, I was meeting some young people who've been delivering leaflets. So many people contributing in so many different ways. It's so crucial that we all take control of our lives and communities, that we do democracy. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for everything you are going to do in the last couple of days. That's a bit of emotional blackmail there. I was actually in Edgbaston at the cricket ground a couple of days ago, where they were holding the final question time debates. We had Adrian Ramsey, Green Party co-leader, and Nigel Farage. Yeah, you can do that if you want to. But I was there doing the commenting, and one of the things I looked at was the history, and there was a test match in 2005 that was the closest Ashes test match there's ever been, and it came down to 2 runs. Now, I've known elections that came down to 2 votes, that came down to 1 vote. In fact, yesterday I was with someone who didn't become a councillor because the result was a tie and they had to toss a coin.
Oh, no.
So, really a message to get out to everybody is every vote could be absolutely crucial. Every vote matters. And, imagine what you'd feel like, people who are saying, perhaps you're knocking them up and saying, go and vote at 6 o'clock on Thursday night and they're going, oh, had a rough day at work, feeling a bit tired, say to them, yours could be the one vote that does it.
I'll come and pick you up.
Yes,
How would you
absolutely.
feel if we didn't get there? So, you know, it feels like we're at the final hurdle. We're almost there, but this last push is vital. So, thank you again, and I'm going to now introduce the wonderful Vix.
I had absolutely no idea that I would be stood here today when Natalie got in touch yesterday, because she got a bit of a sniff, a bit of an idea that this East Wight Primary, this Green Party, coming together is a massive force to be reckoned with. And when I came up the ramp and saw everybody here, not only so many of you, but you've all come dressed for the occasion. You look absolutely stunning from up here. I think we have to remember why we're doing this. We're doing this because we have had decades, hundreds of years of a Conservative MP, or a small amount of time the Liberal Democrat MP and a Liberal MP, but we have never been able to return an MP for some of the other parties, the Greens, the Labour Party. There's a lot of stuff happening in the West, and there's such an opportunity in the East. And when Charity decided, and her friends and the team, to get everybody together, I had no idea it was going to end in such a sea of green and array. We are doing something really historic here on the island. We do have South Devon, we do have Essex, I think we've got Buckinghamshire, but here, from nowhere, from the last 5 weeks of a campaign and the last 2 weeks tomorrow of the East Wight primary result, we have pulled a huge amount of people together. Some of you I know and recognise, some of you I don't, and hopefully I'll get to meet today, tomorrow, and in the years ahead. The Isle of Wight, the idea that the Isle of Wight would return a Conservative MP for the East, to me seems completely anachronistic. We have a huge amount of poverty here. We have 36% of children in Isle of Wight East are in poverty. We have a huge amount of deprivation, part of that link between us and the mainland, and a huge extra cost for that. For us in our pocket, the ferries that have got a stranglehold, and the extra cost for social care and the hospitals and so on. So I, as an MP, if elected on Thursday, will be able to speak up for all of those without a whip, without having to follow a party line, with hopefully being able to work with a big team of Green MPs there at Westminster, so, which will also be historic, and I'm looking forward to that. I think it's to remember that how special this is in the Isle of Wight East. If I'm elected MP, I would be the first MP for Isle of Wight East. I'd be the first female MP for the whole of the Isle of Wight. The county of the Isle of Wight has never returned a female MP. There was us in Cumbria, but they did it last time. We are the only ones left. So the first female MP, and obviously the first Green MP for the island. So the East Wight Primary is doing historic things. The Green Party is doing historic things. And now we've got to get the whole of the Isle of Wight on board to do those historic things. And I really think, seeing you here, this is absolutely possible. I would just like to give a huge round of applause, please, to everybody, especially from the primary, who've been able to come on board and support us. Thank you. This is going to be historic across the country, but it's also going to, if we elect a Green MP, put us on the map. You can imagine literally what that map will look like on Friday morning with that patch of green, which will really emphasise what's important to us here. Not only those social issues, but we're incredibly vulnerable to climate change, to sea level rise. Ventnor is full of landslips, the road is closed, they are really suffering in Ventnor because of the flooding, because of the increased rainfall. So it's really important for us. It symbolises humans and what we're having to suffer in the poverty and deprivation, but also what our beautiful countryside, our World UNESCO Biosphere Reserve that we have here on the island.
And to be able to colour that bit in politically is absolutely awesome. I don't know what else to say apart from, I feel like I've stood before, as Natalie said, I've stood before in elections, but nothing like this momentum. And it's a synchronicity of what we've laid the foundations of for the last few years. And Natalie, you've been here a number of times, and you came to Bestival, quite famously, which was fun. We've laid those foundations, but it feels like we're running that race, you know, like a marathon race, and you've got into the stadium, and we've been the people behind. And it's the last 100 metres, the last 50 yards, the last 20 metres, and we're running ahead. And we can see that not only with you guys here, but with every local poll. Everybody on the island is getting behind the primary, getting behind me as a candidate. So I'd just like to say thank you for everything you're doing. And to reiterate what Natalie was saying, is that we have to keep going and get even more people on board.
Can I just say thank you to you, Vix?
Woo! Yeah.
Thank you so much to you. And we all wish you the best of luck, and we're rooting for you.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you, Bronwyn. And there is a White Link protest gathering Saturday morning.
Going to that.
Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Come and join us. Vix has been with us right from the beginning. We've got to try and sort our ferries out. So if you can join us, that would be really good. I'll buy you all a coffee.
And hopefully I'll be able to join
meeting?
you on Saturday morning, Bronwyn, as the new MP for Isle of Wight East.
I hope so. 11 o'clock at the end of Union Street. Be one of the 7,000 people who have joined White Link users. As I say, Vix has been with our group since right at the beginning, from the beginning of the group, and she's been to every demonstration, she's been to every committee group, she always responds to emails, and she's made the group as powerful as it currently is. We've got every member of political party in our group, and Vix was the first.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you. What can't happen? The count will happen on Thursday evening, Friday morning.
Where?
At Medina Leisure Centre. There's only a few of us that are allowed to go. They have it very tightly controlled. The results, according to the Press Association, about 2:30 a.m.
So
That
both
sort of time.
constituencies,
Both in the
Medina.
same room, so West and East will both be together. I've just got one final thing to say. Some of you have already put up some signs, which has been outstanding, and I see more and more. But if you can help tomorrow with the eve of poll, we do have some leaflet deliveries. If you see the gentleman in the hat at the back, if you can help with some leaflet deliveries and get your steps in. And on Thursday, we've got a team of people telling outside the polling stations. There's 29 of them. If you can spare 2 or 3 hours on Thursday, I'm trying to point who you would see to say that you could do that. Maybe Charity or Mobes or someone, because Barbara isn't here. Or Cameron. See Cameron, if you can help with that at the polling stations. Because it is those tiny things that may seem small, but they are going to make a big difference. A smiling person with a green rosette and maybe a pink lanyard at the polling station is going to make a big difference. So if you see the gentleman in the hat, Stephen, about leaflets tomorrow, Cameron here about polling stations, we could together, all of us, people that are here, people that can't be here with us today, we can actually win. Thank you very much.
Please.
Okay.
Can I get one with you?
Yes, 100%.